The first thing the landlord said wasn't, "Welcome." It was, "Whatever you do, don't open that basement door." Ethan laughed when he told me about it. "Probably just mold or wiring or something," he said, tossing the keys under the kitchen counter. "You know how these old places are." But I didn't laugh, because the way the landlord said it, it didn't sound like a warning. It sounded like fear. The house sat alone on the edge of nowhere in Ohio. No neighbors, no streetlights, just miles of empty land and trees that looked dead even in daylight. It was cheap. Too cheap. That should have been our first red flag. The basement door was in the hallway. Old wood, faded white paint. No handle, just a keyhole. Locked. Ethan tried the key anyway. It didn't fit. "See?" he said. "Nothing to worry about." But that night, I heard something. A soft thud. Then another. Coming from below. "Ethan," I whispered, shaking him awake. "Do you hear that?" He groaned. "It's probably pipes." Thud. Not pipes. It sounded deliberate, like someone knocking, slow, patient, waiting. The next morning, Ethan checked the basement. He came back up 5 minutes later, pale. "There's another door down there," he said. "What do you mean, another door?" "Behind the stairs. Small, metal, and that's the one he meant." I felt my stomach drop. "Did you open it?" He shook his head. "There's no handle, just scratches, like someone tried to claw their way out." We should have left that day, packed up, got out. But we didn't, because nothing actually happened. Not yet. The second night was worse. The knocking came again, but this time, it wasn't just knocking. It was a voice. Faint. Broken. "Help." I froze in bed. Ethan sat up slowly. "Did you hear that?" I nodded. "Please." The voice was coming from the basement. We grabbed flashlights and went down together. Every step creaked like the house was warning us to turn back. The air was colder down there. Thick. Wrong. The metal door was exactly where Ethan said it would be, and now we could hear it clearly. "Help me." Ethan stepped closer. "Hello?" he called out. "Is someone in there?" Silence. Then, bang! The door shook violently. I screamed. Ethan stumbled back. "Someone's in there," he said. "We have to call the police." But before we could move, the voice came again, right behind the door. Soft. Too soft. "Ethan." He froze. "How does it know my name?" That's when we noticed something. The scratches on the door, they weren't random. They were words, carved deep into the metal. "Don't open," over and over again. "We're leaving," I said immediately, "right now." But Ethan didn't move. He was staring at the door, listening. "Ethan," the voice whispered again. This time, it sounded like him. "Okay, this isn't funny," he said, his voice shaking. "Whoever's in there." The voice cut him off, perfectly mimicking him now. "Whoever's in there." My blood ran cold. "It's copying you," I whispered. Then came the final sound, a slow clicking from the lock. We both stared as it began to turn on its own. Click. The door unlocked. Ethan grabbed my arm. "We need to go, now." We ran upstairs, grabbing our keys, not even bothering with our bags. But just as we reached the front door, we heard it open. Downstairs. Slow. Heavy. Something stepped out. We didn't look back. We drove all night, didn't stop until sunrise, didn't say a word. The next day, we called the landlord. "What was in that basement?" Ethan demanded. There was a long pause on the other end. Then the landlord sighed. "You opened it, didn't you?" "We didn't," I said quickly. It opened itself. Another silence. Then he said something that still haunts me. That door wasn't to keep something in. He paused. It was to keep something out. We moved out that same week, tried to forget, tried to move on. But a few nights later, Ethan woke me up again. Same way as before, same fear in his eyes. "Do you hear that?" I listened, and my heart stopped. Thud, thud, coming from below us. But we didn't have a basement. And then, from somewhere in the darkness of our new home, a voice whispered, perfectly, exactly like Ethan. "Help." Whatever was in that basement didn't stay there. The first 911 call lasted 12 seconds. No screaming, no panic, just a whisper. "Please, send help." Then the line went dead. Dispatch traced the call to an abandoned house on the outskirts of Portland. Problem was, that house hadn't had electricity for over 8 years. Officer Daniel Reyes was first on scene. Old house, boarded windows, door barely hanging on its hinges. The kind of place people avoided, even during the day. At night, it felt wrong. "Dispatch, I'm on location," Reyes said into his radio. "Place looks empty." Static. Then, another call came in. Same number, same address. Reyes froze, because this time, the whisper came through his radio, not the phone. "He's still here." Backup arrived 5 minutes later. Officer Mills stepped out of the cruiser, flashlight in hand. "You hear that too?" Reyes asked. Mills nodded slowly. "Yeah, and I don't like it." They entered together. The front door creaked open like it hadn't moved in years. Dust everywhere, furniture covered in sheets, air thick like it hadn't been disturbed. "Clear," Mills called from the living room. "Kitchen's clear," Reyes said. No signs of life, no footsteps, no movement. Then came the third call. This time, both their radios lit up. "Basement." They turned toward the hallway. There it was, a door, slightly open, pitch black beyond it. "You feel that?" Mills whispered. Reyes nodded. Cold, like stepping into a freezer. They moved slowly, flashlights cutting through darkness, each step louder than the last. The basement stairs creaked under their weight. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. Until nothing. No sound at all. At the bottom, they saw it. A phone. Old, dusty, lying in the center of the floor. And it was ringing. Reyes looked at Mills. Mills shook his head. "Don't touch it." But Reyes stepped forward anyway. The screen lit up. Incoming call, 911. His hand trembled as he answered. "Hello?" Silence. Then a whisper. "Right behind you." Reyes spun around. Nothing there, just darkness. Mills grabbed his arm. "We need to go, now." But then they heard it. Footsteps. Not theirs. Slow. Dragging. Circling them. "Who's there?" Reyes shouted. No answer. Then the phone spoke again, still in his hand. "Don't leave me." The voice. It sounded like a child. Reyes looked down at the floor, and that's when he saw it. Scratches. Deep marks carved into the concrete. Names. Dozens of them. And at the very bottom, one fresh name. Daniel Reyes. His blood ran cold. That's not possible. Mills stepped back slowly. "Reyes, we need to go, right now." But Reyes couldn't move. The phone tightened in his grip. And then, the final call came in. Not from the phone, not from dispatch, from everywhere. "Stay." The basement lights flickered, even though there was no electricity. Mills ran, up the stairs, out the door, didn't look back. Reyes didn't follow. Backup searched the house an hour later. They found the phone, still on the floor, still connected to 911. But there was no sign of Officer Reyes. No struggle, no blood, nothing. Just one thing, a new scratch in the concrete. Fresh, deep. Mills. Twist ending. The next night, 911 received another call. Same number, same address. Officer Mills was the one who answered it, hands shaking, breathing heavy. 911, what's your emergency? Silence. Then, a whisper. Familiar. Please, send help. It was Reyes, and behind his voice, something else was breathing.